Hello, welcome back to the channel, and I have to say I am suffering with the man flu today, so I do apologise if I cough and splutter my way through this match preview. But yeah, I was at the Tottenham match actually during the week to watch their Champions League tie against Villarreal, and I'm sure I probably caught it on the train to London or coming back home because yeah, I've been suffering ever since that Tottenham game. But the focus today is very much on Watford versus Millwall. And firstly, before we dive into my predicted 11, I think it's right we address really the elephant in the room. We don't want to talk about it, but given our owner's history, I feel I have to. And that is, of course, the future of PP Paolo Pezzolano. How long does he have left at Watford? I can't believe I'm talking about this already, but as I've said before, Watford are a very unique club in world football. At any normal club, you would usually be given a lot more time than Watford managers receive. But given the clear expectations they've outlined this season and the so-called backing we've seen this summer, I think it's fair we have to call into question Paolo's future. Now, I do think he still has more time. I don't think this is the game he'll get sacked if he loses. However, if he does fail to win either against Millwall or against Hull City at Vicarage Road next weekend, I do think at the next international break, a change could potentially be made. Now, of course, I do feel for Paolo slightly in the first few matches, especially in that midfield area. He's been hamstrung with injuries and suspensions to some of his key players. Caleb Wiley hasn't featured at all this season. Imran Louza has been missing for the past 3 fixtures for his red card. Georgie Shakfatatse doesn't seem any nearer to a return. He's nearly been 6 months out injured for Watford now. So, yeah, I feel like Paolo has been hamstrung somewhat. Pierre Duomo out in midfield, for example. Tom Delly has left. Nampalys Mendy hasn't featured yet. So, yeah, there are clearly some contributing factors potentially to the run of form Watford have been on. But also, I do think Paolo has been lucky in some respects as well. If you go back to Southampton, for example, whilst the first half was pretty poor, Watford in the second half especially showed moments of real quality. Kwadwo Bar with a fantastic goal, but ultimately Nestory Irankunda has really bailed Paolo out on numerous occasions this season. He got the assist for Luka Kiramgard's goal against QPR. He got the free kick against Swansea to rescue the Hornets a point. And as I just mentioned, he also scored that free kick against Southampton. And if them key moments hadn't had happened, Watford could potentially be sitting in the relegation zone right now. So I think there's lots of factors that go into it. I think Paolo clearly needs to be doing better, even with the players he has available. But as I said, equally, with injuries and suspensions, it's always going to be difficult for any manager to deal with that. So, yeah, you can look at it from 2 sides, really. All right, those are my thoughts on PP and his future heading into the match at the Den on Monday Night Football. Now it's time to look at my predicted 11. And here it is. From back to front, I've gone with Egil Selvik in goal. I've also gone with a back 3 of James Abankwah, who will return to the 11. Kevin Caben in the centre of defence. He's been a Rolls Royce so far this season. And a Watford debut potentially for Formosa Mendy, the former FC Lorient defender, could be making his first appearance against Millwall. He also previously played with Imran Louza, so they already have that pre-existing connection from their old club. Mark Boller comes in at left wing back according to the Watford website. He's recently recovered from a muscular injury. Hector Cipriani once again features in midfield alongside finally the returning Imran Louza, our Moroccan maestro. Jeremy Petrie comes in again at right wing back. Ngakia still recovering from a groin injury he picked up a couple of weeks ago. And my front 3 will be Nestory Irankunda on the left, Luka Kiramgard up front, and Kwadwo Bar on the right hand side. So that is generally what I would go for in this game. Of course, Pierre Duomo has recently returned to fitness, although I wouldn't necessarily expect him to start. I think coming in the second half potentially could be a good idea for Pierre Duomo. But where I think the change could be made is actually in regards to this front three here now. Iran Kunda, Kiramgard and Bar on paper is a fantastic front three. But I have seen some people suggest that Kwadwo Bar here could be better coming off as a bench option in the second half to run against tired legs. I think that's where we've seen the best of Kwadwo so far this season. So my solution for this is Iran Kunda and Luca in a front two, like we saw against QPR. I thought they were very effective in that game. And then you could potentially have Rocco Vata in behind, either in a 10 position, quite advanced, or dropping in just ahead of Hector Cipriano and Imran Louza here. I think that team there, whilst it's risky, committing quite a few players forward, Bola and Petrie also playing quite advanced, I do feel on paper this is probably the best team we can put out as it stands. Mendy, by all accounts, is quite highly rated as well. He seems to be in a similar ilk to Kevin Caben, James Abankwah. We know how good he is bringing out the ball from the back. He'll be very useful in this game as well. Hector Cipriani, very combative in midfield. I think my only concern is, and this is very stereotypical about Millwall, I know, but the general consensus is the atmosphere is very rowdy. They're a physical side. And going to the Den really with quite a, and this could seem disrespectful, but quite a physically weak team. Rocco Vata, is very slight in his figure. Imran Louza, whilst he gives it a go, he's not a destroyer in midfield. My one concern would be we do look a little bit weak in that midfield area, which is where we could potentially play Papa Mendy, who has recently come back to fitness. He, of course, joined on a free transfer this summer, formerly of Leicester City. So that would be my predicted 11. Do you agree with my sentiment that the midfield is too weak? Or actually, would you take the risk and just hope that the quality of Louza, Cipriano, Vata and Iran Kunda could see us through in this game? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, score prediction time, and I'm quite happy I managed to battle my way through this video with my illness. Hopefully the Watford players will do the same on Monday. Look, I think for me, it's been really hard actually since Tom Cleverley was dismissed at the start of May. Like many of you, I was extremely disappointed with that decision, and also the choice to bring in a relatively unknown manager in Paolo Pezzolano. But for me, I took the personal decision to back Paolo as much as possible because that was the only way I was really going to be able to enjoy this season. And of course, the back in the transfer market helps. We had some marquee signings in Hector Cipriano and Nestory Iran Kunda. Those two players in particular got me really excited for this season. I do fear, however, that if we do fail to win on Monday, it could be the start of a very quick downfall for PP. So I'm going to go positive. I'm going to go bold. I'm going to go for our first clean sheet of the season. Watford have not yet kept a clean sheet so far in the 25-26 season. And I'm hoping and praying we'll do that on Monday night. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Hornets win with Iran Kunda and Rocco Vata to get the goals in this game. Do let me know your predictions in the comment section down below. Did you agree with my predicted 11? And all being well, as long as I don't deteriorate too much, I will be here on Monday night for a live match watch along, so do not miss that. The game also being broadcast live on Sky Sports here in the UK. So yeah, looking forward to it. A little bit concerned as to what may come in the next few weeks, but hopefully we'll start getting some momentum with a victory against Millwall at the Den. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye.